The American National Atheist song.
Okay, go do that. Great! What are the words to it?
I have to read them to you.
Oh, you have to read them to you.
You want me to read them to you?
Are they very long?
Not too long. It's very interesting. And who do you represent?
We're from American Atheists. We're videotaping it for them.
Oh, all right.
You get a win.
Let's see. The first verse is, we are the atheists, free from mind control. We have no gods, Jesus our soul. Our lives are happy as people can see, 'cause we love nature and humanity. All through the ages, ignorance prevails. Religious leaders preaching fairy tales. Stop all your BS and all your nonsense. Our minds are made up and we could care less. Reason and science, good for you and me. Not a damn Bible or a deity. Let's live together and always be bold. We are the atheists, free from mind control.
Well, that's great. Let's hear it for him. Wait, what's your name?
David Mandel.
David Mandel. Well, Jack Jones better watch out because he's in trouble. You going to be a lounge lizard?
I'm going to be what?
A lounge lizard? You know, that lounge lizard type singer like Jack Jones?
No, I am what you call a singer that sings kind of spontaneous, because I'm not really a singer, see. I'm a harmonica player and a harmonica teacher and also an active atheist. And I'm also going to play the calliope.
Oh, you play the calliope?
Yes, when it arrives, I'm going to play the calliope.
Well, we're going to get that too.
All right.
We'll see you.
All right.
So,
all right.
You kind of have to be on your own there to make sure that you're always at least 10 feet behind so that everybody can read the important message that you're carrying. And it says, for those of you who don't read upside down and through the material, it says legalize atheism everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. So that's what we want, isn't it?
right.
Okay.
Uncala, Oregon, aren't you?
Yeah.
Are you the only atheist in Uncala?
No.
Who else is there?
My dad.
Your dad is probably, there's only what, 3 or 4 people who live in Uncala, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll see you on the march, and we'll let you know how things go.
Yes, but I won't be playing it in the parade because they tell me there's a calliope going
Yeah,
on.
which we thought you might get. This is Norman McLeod from British Columbia, and you're a bagpipe player, right?
Yeah.
And you're sort of entertaining the troops before we get going.
That's right. There'll be a calliope going along with this, and
Tell
it'll
us a
be.
bit about this bagpipe. It looks like an antique.
It is. I've had it for about 50 years, and I got it secondhand from a guy back then. So
wow.
It's pretty old, maybe 100 years. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's hear you spin a tune on it. Okay. Are you still running?
No.
Oh, well, let's talk to Rob Sherman here. Hi, Rob.
Hi.
This is probably your third march, isn't it?
Well, let me take off my sunglasses so people can see me.
That's right.
Yes, this is my third Atheist march, and each one has been bigger and better than the last one.
Really? Okay.
Well, that's what I'm supposed to say, right? I say,
I don't know.
well,
The
the group seems smaller, and we have all these funny kind of people. Oh, this is fabulous.
Well, we're actually in the big state of California this time, and it should get a lot of attention.
That's right. My only regret is that everybody's able to get from here to the Capitol without buying any tickets from the Rob Sherman Travel Agency, 803 Atheist.
Are you kidding? Is that the truth?
No, that's the truth. Here, I've got a business card for you. You know, I haven't had a chance to give you my business card.
Okay.
So let me show you my business card. Here they are. I don't know. You probably can't pick this up there on Channel 1.
Can you get that? Rob Sherman Travel Agency.
That's right.
Well, we're
and
glad.
you notice that 800 number, 803 Atheist.
Is that? It is.
This
My
is
golly. Well, I'm glad to hear you've finally gone into a legitimate business, guy.
That's right. Let me give you a card. Anytime
Okay.
you do any of your travel. Oh, wait. We can't do promotion of business on public television, so don't buy your tickets from Rob Sherman Travel Agency.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to buy a ticket from him. That's right.
That's right. At
Anybody else.
803 Atheists, right?
All you people from San Francisco and Los Angeles and Denver, Colorado. Hey, you're from Denver. Is this your first Atheist Pride March?
This is my first march, yes. I didn't attend the first one 7 years ago.
Yeah,
No.
Denver. I did. That was great fun.
Really?
Yeah, you're going to have fun today if you don't get arrested. And even that's fun.
Well, I haven't been arrested lately, so I hope it doesn't happen today.
Oh, okay. Hey, you guys came all the way from San Francisco to Sacramento to march in the Atheist Pride Parade. This is your first Pride Parade?
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to a good time?
Well, yeah, I have two purposes for being here. I write for a newspaper in San Francisco, and I'm also an atheist, and so I came here to have some fun, but then when I get back to work on Monday, I'm also going to be able to write a story about the convention.
Which paper do you write for?
It's the Bay Area Reporter. It's
okay.
yeah, it's the largest gay and lesbian newspaper in the country. We have a weekly circulation of about 45,000.
Wow, we get it up in Portland, so I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
Do you have a photographer taking pictures?
We might have one here tomorrow, but I asked for press photos from the American Atheist just in case the person doesn't make it.
Well, I'll look forward to seeing that article in the barn. I'll look for your Jeff Kelly Fast. We'll look for your byline.
You bet.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
At least 10 feet. Just not making noise yet.
Yeah, come on, let's chant. Atheist and proud. Atheist and proud.
Thanks for helping us.
I'm with you people.
He's one of us. Atheists are mellow.
That's Madalyn O'Hair, you know? Yeah, you were at the meeting.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
Tickled feet. Tickled feet.
Hey, we got a two-fisted sign carrier here.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Glad to be here.
Your ass.
side.
Don't mess with Texas.
All right.
Oh, we're on TV. I wanted to take this auspicious occasion to say I'm proud to be an American atheist veteran.
We got a marshal here from the parade. How's it going?
Hey, pretty fucking good.
Pretty fucking good. I love it. Well, that'll get in it.
Hey, look who's coming by.
Hey, look who's coming by.
It's the Dial-N Atheist guy.
Dial-N Atheist guy. Hi, Dial-N Atheist guy. You having a good time here at the parade?
I'm loving it every minute.
Everybody glad to be here?
Yeah!
Did you ever think you'd be doing this anytime in your entire life?
No!
Can you remember any of them?
Well, here comes the tail end of the parade. Hi, Tail.
Hi.
Hey, look, it's Helen from Oregon. Hi. Is this an atheist dog?
Better believe it.
What's his name?
Torah.
Tora. Hi, Tora. Tora the atheist dog. That was great. Hi, Robin.
Oh.
This is your third parade, isn't it?
1, 2, 3. That's right.
Have a good time?
Well, so far.
So far, no problems?
That's right.
Do you like these parades?
Yep.
What do you like best about them?
We have a chance to be negative and say, and just say no to religion. So.
Well, let's keep marching.
Okay.
Talk about this parade.
Well, I think it looks, well, I'm surprised.
You're surprised, huh?
Yeah.
About what?
But they're letting them parade down here.
Yeah, with the signs like that.
You don't think they should have signs like that?
Prayer is to yourself.
Or God is make believe.
Yeah.
I don't think that's.
Okay.
I don't think that's too acceptable to a lot of people. But what you say, you know, people do what they want to do, believe in what they want to believe in.
Okay, you got it. Thank you. Enjoying the parade?
There you are. Don't you know that atheists can get out in the street if they have to?
That's right. We belong in the streets, don't we?
And nothing's going wrong.
That's right.
Even the sun is shining on us today.
It shined in Denver, too, the first parade.
Oh, I know it did. It's wonderful.
Sure is.
Feels good.
Hey, we're going to show the world we're patriots. Remember, Bush said atheists aren't patriots. We're patriots.
We've got a collage. what do you think about the parade?
I think it's great.
Think it's great?
Yes.
Yeah, how about you? Why do you think it's great?
It's American freedom of speech in action.
You got it.
I agree with every single sign, especially the one that says freedom of religion is freedom from religion too.
Are you from, you sound like you're from England.
No, we're not.
Where are you from?
From South Africa originally. We're Americans now, though.
Yeah. Great. Well, thanks for the interview. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, my husband's in it.
Your husband's in it. Who's your husband?
Well, I haven't seen him yet.
Oh, that's not, he was kind of, is that your husband? Well, let's go get a picture of your husband. Come on, get a picture of you being interviewed. Hey, here, we'll be interviewing. Get a picture of him being interviewed. You're going to be on television. What do you think about that?
That's fine. I've been on television many times.
Oh, you've been on television. This is nothing new.
No, well, new in this context, but not completely. It's exciting to be here. And
you having a good time?
Parade. They've really organized it nicely. I'm really impressed with what a good job Austin has done to get the signs together, to get the parade discipline together, to just make it all work.
Doesn't it feel good to be out in the streets and open about being atheist?
Well, I've been open for years and years, so that's nothing new for me. Okay. And I'm a school administrator, so that's especially nothing new.
Yeah, the school, and no problems being an atheist in open school?
No problems, no. In sunny California.
Good to hear that.
Okay.
We'll see you on TV.
Okay, we'll see.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good, yeah. We're spreading out. It's a beautiful day. Didn't rain on us. So everything is great.
Good turnout.
Yes, very good turnout.
Do you like to have it out in the streets like this, up in everybody's face?
Oh, yeah. It's a heck of a lot better than just staying inside the hotel. We like to get out and let everybody know what's going on with atheism.
You do this about twice a year, actually.
Yeah. Well, I want to do this. I want to go to Washington, D.C. and do this.
Yeah.
In front of the Capitol, in front of the White House. Let Clinton watch us.
Yeah, in front of the
Supreme Court.
Right, in front of the Supreme Court, and in front of the Houses of Congress.
Yeah.
Let's do it everywhere. That's a great idea.
Great.
Hi, guys. What do you think about the parade?
God is a make-believe. They should believe in their maker.
Believe in their maker, huh? Y'all think the same thing?
Yeah,
Mormon proud.
Mormon and proud.
You're Mormons?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Have a good day.
Okay. All right.
I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah.
That's good. What about you?
I love parade, and I glad people had a great time.
Oh, good.
And then I'm hoping everybody happy day.
Easter Day too, yeah.
Okay, you take care, guys. Hi, guys. Nice of you to come out and escort us. Is that what you're doing?
Yes, sir. Sort of, yeah.
Did you hear about any kind of problems that might happen or anything? You're just here to make sure there isn't any?
Yeah, we're here to make sure there's no problems and everything goes all right.
Well, that's great. How'd you hear about it?
Papers, they hear it over the radio.
Word of mouth.
So you just
Word
came
of
on your own?
And we usually troll down here anyway, every weekend.
Oh, I see. What do you think about this parade?
Well, no comment. It's a parade. And we're here to make sure no hassles, no harasses, things like that.
Well, thanks for coming. It's good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, you're all in uniform. You American Atheist veterans?
Yes, I am.
Which branch of the military?
The Army.
You're in the Army?
Served in World War II and Korea.
World War II and Korea?
Yes.
I guess there's atheists in foxholes then, huh?
There sure are. I can guarantee it.
Glad to be out here marching?
Wonderful. Wouldn't miss it for anything.
Where you come from?
Arkansas.
Arkansas?
Yes.
Well, you come a long way to march then.
It was a pleasure.
Would you like to have an atheist convention in Arkansas marching in Little Rock?
Right, that's where we need one, and get rid of that article in the Arkansas Constitution that forbids atheists from testifying in court or holding any state office.
Right. Well, thanks for joining us in the march.
My pleasure.
Position is a 2, 4, 6, 8. Separate church and state. 2, 4, 6, 8. Separate church and state.
Atheists are proud!
state, separate state and church.
These two I don't know.
Where are you guys from?
Yeah.
Portland. You got a break. Good.
You're putting words in. Yeah.
I guess those steps wouldn't get you very high.
The observance of Easter has been canceled. They found the body.
Do you know Frank Zulu?
Four, 6, 8, separate church and state. 2, 4, 6, 8, separate church and state. Fee, fi, fo, fum, religion is dum dum dum. Fee, fi, fo, fum, religion is dum dum dum. Fee, fi, fo.
Okay, let's have some noise. 6.
Separate church and state.
2, 4, 6, 8, separate church and state. 2, 4, 6, 8, separate church and state. 2, 4, 6, 8, separate church and state. 2, 4, 6, 8, separate church and state. 2, 4, 6, 8, separate church and state. 2, 4, 6, 8, separate church and state. 2, 4, 6, 8, separate church and state. 2, 4, 6, 8, separate church and state. 2, 4, 6, 8, separate church and state. 2, 4, 6, 8, separate church and state.
Ladies and gentlemen, while the rest of the parade is gathering around the front of the California State Capitol here in Sacramento, I have a question for all of you. Are there any atheists here at the Capitol? I don't think Governor Wilson heard you. Are there any atheists here? We want to let Governor Wilson and the members of the California State Legislature know what God is. What is God? All right, God is make-believe. Well, thank you all for participating in our third Atheist Pride Parade, this one here in Sacramento, California. We have a number of people who will be speaking to you, but first, as the rest of you are gathering, I want to bring you a little atheist war story out of Hickory Hills, Illinois. How many of you know where Hickory Hills is in southwest suburban Chicago? All right. Hickory Hills, the Park District preschool program. The government employees required the children to say a little prayer that God is good, God is great. We thank you, God, for the food on our plate before the kids got their snacks. Ooh. One of the moms called American Atheists and asked us to do something about it. And we got in touch with the Park District and demanded that they end the practice of leading the children in an anti-atheist God ceremony before they got their snacks. And after the Park District terminated the practice of leading a prayer before the snacks, 150 parents went to the next park board meeting and demanded that the Park District reverse the policy because they said it was the job of government to supply religion to those children who weren't getting it at home. American Atheist was there, and we said, no way. And the Park District backed down only because American Atheists intimidated them. American Atheists said, you better not, or it's going to be the most expensive mistake that this park district ever made. So they backed out. We're here today in Sacramento to let the government officials here in California know that we demand the equal protections of the law now. In state after state throughout this country, there are laws protecting the civil rights of women, of blacks, of gay people, of every group except atheists. Well, we want that change. We want specific language in the California laws or in the Constitution or in the California Human Rights Act, wherever it's needed, to maintain a complete wall of separation between state and church. We want assurances that no public funds of any type whatsoever are spent in aid or in support of any organization or of any program that excludes atheists due to the bigotry of the people that operate those programs. In Arkansas, there is a provision in the state constitution that says that atheists aren't permitted to hold government jobs or testify in court. Don Hirschberg is here from Arkansas. Why don't you come on up, Don, and we'll have you tell everybody a little bit about that situation, what you've done as an atheist civil rights activist to bring an equal protection of the law to atheists. This is Don Hirschberg. Let's hear it for Don.
It's great to be here. We're hoping to get that provision in the Arkansas Constitution canceled. Now, there's hardly any way to do it because the Constitution itself says you can only put 3 amendments on at a time. And they had 24 lined up ahead of us this year. So it's almost impossible. So what we're going to try and do is just raise so much hell down there, give them no rest on it. They'll have to do it one way or another by proclamation or amend the Constitution. And we're hoping to recruit some people here today who would like to come there to Arkansas and help us.
When? All right. All right, Ray. Let's hear it for Ray out of Pittsburgh. All right. On June 14th of this year, we'll be celebrating the 30th anniversary of the day that the United States Supreme Court barred forced prayer in the public schools. This year, June 14th is on a Monday. On the day before that, Sunday, June 13th, Don Hirschberg from Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas, Don and I will be in Little Rock on the front steps of the Capitol there. Sunday, June 13th, we're going to hold an American Atheist rally against the Arkansas outrage, and we want as many of you there as can be. You'll be hearing more about that from American Atheists. So mark that date on your calendar if you're within 500 miles of the Capitol, if you're within 500. And now let's hear it for the founder of American Atheists, Madalyn O'Hair.
Easy, wasn't it? You didn't have any difficulty walking up here. Nobody shot at you. Nobody tried to do anything overt. And the most that they could do is just listen to us and see that we're out here and that we are on the streets. So I'm very proud of you that you went through that. And next time we're going to arrange crowds. The March in Denver, once again, this was on a more or less unpopulated area. We walked about a mile and a half there. And in Austin, Texas, we went down Congress Avenue. And the day before, of course, all the businesses closed. So that we again had an isolated kind of walk, and we had one here. But that's just practice. And maybe the next time we'll have more, or we will deliberately arrange it so that we'll have more. For instance, we could always pass up a couple of churches at the time that they disassemble. But in any event, we'll be able to do much more. I'm happy to see all of you. I can't believe it that I started out just 30-some years ago all alone, and here I am with all of you today. We thought for a while, since the balloons turned out to be pink, white, and blue, that everyone would think there was a great big wedding today. But that isn't what is happening at all. I'm delighted to see you. I hope you get out to Arkansas. If it's at all possible, we want any of you who can come to picket the Pope in August. The American Atheists were the first organized group in the world to ever picket the Pope. And we did this something like 10 or 12 years ago in Chicago, Illinois. Robin can tell you, if she can get her breath, how many people were out. I think it was 47. At what? 49. I'm 2 off. At that time, the Chicago police did arrest the sharpshooter who had stationed himself in the hotel above our assembly point. And he did say that he was there in order to see if he could do something against the American Atheists. But we managed that, and you all got your little badges of courage for coming out today, and we'll see how it goes from here. Let me tell you a little bit more about Robin, because I think that this is important. We had the same doctor for 27 years in Austin, and last September his insurance was increased and his rent was increased. And he called me into the office and he said, "Madalyn, they can go to hell. I'm going to quit." And we asked him if he could provide us with another general practitioner. And he said, "Well, I'm sorry, but in Austin, Texas, we don't have any general practitioners. All of the young people coming out of medical school are specializing, and the most I can do is send you to an endocrinologist because you're diabetic." So I went there and I tried to get a referral to a doctor, and he didn't know any GPs either. But he finally gave me one name, and John has chronic headaches. So John went to see this character, and when John went in with his head terribly swollen, his whole forehead swells up when he has a headache, the doctor told him that he should go and get counseling, perhaps from someone who could help him save his soul. After that, we took Robin in she had had a temperature of 103 for 3 or 4 days, and we were getting frantic because we couldn't find a doctor. So finally we took her down to this same doctor, unfortunately, and when he got her into his office, she said that he didn't even use a stethoscope on her. He did nothing. He ordered no tests, absolutely nothing. And there she sat with 104-degree fever, and he said, "Well, it's one of God's little bugs." So when we got out of there, we hunted for 2 more days to try to find another GP. And we found a woman down in the slums in the south end of the city of Austin who felt that it was her duty to care for poor women, and almost all of her clientele were women. We took Robin down there. She ordered a blood test. She ordered x-rays, and the x-rays revealed that Robin did have pneumonia, a very, very bad stage of pneumonia, and she had to go home and be put on necessary drugs. She was in bed for 3 weeks, and we thought that we would have to call off the convention because everything, every piece of paper you have in your hand was written by Robin. And we had to try to drag the stuff home for her to do it at home, and for her to do it during the last 2 days before we came up with the convention. As she was trying to walk with you now, she has tried to strangle a couple of times because she has a lot of phlegm still coming up, and she has been very, very ill. But we can't even get a doctor. Think of that. We can't get a doctor. We will go to a grocery store, and they will tell us that they would appreciate it if we wouldn't come in there anymore. We go to a restaurant, and every time we walk into a restaurant, we have people come up to us saying, "I'm praying for you." We have come to the point now that I have not been able to enter a store in the city of Austin for the last 5 years. I cannot buy clothing, I can't get my hair dressed, I can't buy groceries, I can't do any of the normal things that any other person does. Because if I am seen out on the highway, if I am seen trying to walk, if I go into any grocery stores, any place, I am accosted and insulted. And this just continues in an absolutely unending way. And we've had 30 years of it, and I've had enough. I want all of you with me side by side the next time I go out the street. Thank you. Right
on. Ladies and gentlemen, in the history of this country, no person has done any more for the separation of state and church and for the civil rights of atheists than Madalyn O'Hair. I don't want anybody sitting on everybody for a standing ovation. Let her know how much you appreciate a lifetime of effort on our behalf.
Isn't that clever? He sees you standing there, so he says, let's give her a standing ovation.
Well, as you can see, God didn't make no dumb atheists, all right? But it's not just Mrs. O'Hair who is doing work for state-church separation, work for atheists. We have people throughout the country that are working for civil rights for atheists. We have one individual who is, in particular, who I'd like to introduce to you now, who is working for the civil rights of gay and lesbian atheists. Is Doug Mcneil here? Here comes Doug. A big hand for Doug Mcneil. I don't know, Arizona, is it? Phoenix, Arizona. All right, let's hear it for Doug.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you. Well, as Rob just said, I'm Doug Mcneil. I'm with American Gay and Lesbian Atheists. And because of our national director, Don Sanders, was unable to make it to the convention, I was asked to say a few words on behalf of AGLA. First, I'd like to thank John Murray, Madalyn O'Hair, Robin Murray O'Hair, for inviting AGLA to be present here in Sacramento at both the convention and the Pride March. Both groups have the same goal: getting religion out of our lives and out of our government. Religion is the enemy of gay, lesbian, and bisexual people. And everybody else. Thank you. If you've been to any of the gay civil rights hearings, like the one we recently had in Phoenix, Arizona, you would know that virtually the only argument used for continuing discrimination against gays and lesbians has been on, quote, religious grounds. Our arguments for civil rights is on constitutional grounds. The legal cases involving gays and lesbians in the military have been brought on constitutional issues. The freedom of speech and equal protection under the law. I would like to add one other argument: separation of state and church, the freedom from religion. Yeah. Okay. Religion has hindered medical research. For hundreds of years, the Catholic Church had a virtual headlock on education in medieval Europe and forbade dissection of cadavers. With hundreds of years of missing medical research, we are now adolescence is at an alarming rate. In the name of their so-called loving God, the religionists would allow the extermination of the next group of vulnerable people, your children. How many more people will we let religion kill, trying to silence our voices? I urge you to join with American Atheists an American gay and lesbian atheist, and opposing religion and government and in our lives. AGLA can be reached at P.O. Box 66711, Houston, Texas 77266-6711, and we have a Dial a Gay Atheist line at area code 713-880-4242. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. We have people throughout the country making a case for the atheist cause. We have people in their communities talking about it, talking to their government officials, but we also have people on the air. We even have an atheist radio show, which is being conducted every week by Gil Lawrence. Gil, come on up here and tell everybody a little bit about American Atheists radio show. Here comes Gil, out of Providence, Rhode Island. A big hand for Gil!
Well, this is the second time he's done this to me without anything at all prepared, and I didn't know I was going to say anything here today. But I'm proud to walk in this parade, and I thank Madalyn Murray O'Hair and the family for doing all the work they have. About a year ago, we decided to do something for atheism, and that was to reach out on AM talk radio, which seems to be a hot item around the country. And we've been running the program now for about a year, and about 80% of our response and callers are people who enjoy the program and support the program, and very seldom do we get what we thought we were going to get in the beginning, which were the fundamentalists driving us crazy. So we're having a good time with that in Providence, Rhode Island. And thank you again, Rob, for bringing me up here.
All right. You all know about the American Atheist TV Forum, but we also have some people out in the hinterlands, some places east of the Rocky Mountains, who are doing TV shows like Frank Zindler with the Ohio Atheist Television News Forum. Frank's going to tell you a little bit about that and what he's doing in Ohio.
I don't hear you.
Well, I don't really think I need to say too much about the television forum other than the reason for having it in the first place. And that is that, as you all know, these are the times that try men's lack of souls. Seriously, what this means is that we are in a country, we are in a civilization which has lost almost totally its capacity for reality testing. And you people who are here today are people who have preserved in your own lives the ability to test what's around you and make some reasoned judgment as to what is real. And many of you are working very hard to spread this talent around, to pass it on to others. Some of you have run for public office, and others will be. What we need desperately, not only in this country, but on this planet, as people, rulers, governors, presidents, premiers, who can tell what is fact and what is fiction. People who know what is biology and what is mythology, who know really that there is no free meal, that there is nothing, that there is no Big Daddy in the clouds who is going to come down and rescue us at the last minute, that our fate is in our own hands, but we've got to see clearly. We have to be able to get through the cloud of smoke that has been placed around us by the forces of superstition, which have had thousands of years to pollute the atmosphere and obscure our vision. The people who are here today are fundamentally the hope of America. We have a banner here that says, Atheism, America's hope, and Atheists, America's hope as well.
Spread it on, move it up in the governments, and spread it around the world, and start by spreading it from your persons to the people around you. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank Zindler from Columbus. I just received by cellular fax from the newsroom of American Atheist Press a bulletin. It's some sad news. Tomorrow's observance of Easter has been canceled. They found the body. You know, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, moms and dads, there's a lot of discrimination against atheists in this country. They claim that we don't share the same values that the rest of the people in this country have. Well, when you think of the wacko from Waco and the bomber from Brooklyn or Manhattan and the guy that shot Dr. Gunn, what do they have that we don't have? Religion. When they say we don't share their values, they're right. Our values are much, much higher. I told you before about how Madalyn O'Hair has spent a lifetime, her entire adult lifetime, working for the civil rights of atheists. There's another person here who's not only spent his adult lifetime, he spent his childhood working for civil rights of atheists too. That's John Murray, the president of American Atheists. Let's hear it for John. I don't hear you.
Thanks, Rob. I'm really proud to be here at American Atheist Pride March 3. I want to make this a continuing tradition. We need to get bigger and better, and as soon as we learn the ropes, we're going to go to Washington and do this and see how many atheists we can get up there to the White House and the national Capitol. In the meantime, I want to tell you a little bit about why I'm here. I'm a second-generation atheist, and that means something to me. And I'm here because, for example, when I watched our new President Clinton being sworn in, and I saw after all of the rhetoric and everything he said that he'd do, and I saw him get up there in front of that U.S. Capitol building, and I saw him take his oath, so help him God, when he didn't need to, when that's not part of the constitutional oath, it suddenly went through my head something, which was, I don't care who elected him or who voted for him or who didn't vote for him. He's not my president. He doesn't represent me. And he doesn't represent anybody who's an atheist. And think about that real hard. You are not represented, essentially. You are disenfranchised in the United States. I can remember going to the U.S. Congress with Rob Sherman, and we've been up there on several occasions trying to push for something to do with civil rights for atheists. Pushing for maybe a bill or an amendment to the Civil Rights Act to get specific civil rights for atheists legislated in the United States. Now, John S. Jones talked to you about New Zealand. New Zealand doesn't even have a written constitution, but they have written legislation guaranteeing the rights of non-believers. We have a constitution. We have separation of state and church in our constitution, and we don't even have rights for atheists legislated. We have rights for blacks educated. We have rights for legislated. We have some rights for women, and hopefully more legislated. We certainly have rights for the religious legislated, but we don't have them. We don't have the right to freedom from religion legislated for atheists at all, either in the federal government or in the several states. I wrote about 3 or 4 weeks ago a letter to every single member of this body that meets in this building we're standing from, every single California legislator. And I invited them all to our convention. I said, anybody that shows up with a legislative ID, there's no charge. You can get into any lecture free. You can get in the book room, anything. We'll even give you a book if you show up. And I wrote a letter to every single one of them, and you see how many are here, and you see how many came to the convention, not one. You know why? Because they think you're not worth showing up. They think you aren't people, you're untouchables. And that's the kind of thing that I got going to the nation's capital, is that those people treated me as if I had some kind of disease when I went in their office. They wanted to run the other way because they knew if they were nice to me, they might not get reelected. And I don't know about you, but I was not reared to think that that's what America was all about. My family has been here in the United States for 16 generations since the boats coming into Jamestown Colony, Virginia. We got 4 relatives that fought in the Revolutionary War, about 4 or 5 that fought in the Civil War, all the way along in all of the wars. Madalyn Murray O'Hair, my mother is a veteran, is a decorated veteran. And here we stand with all of that, and we're still ignored. I wrote a letter to Governor Wilson here. I asked Governor Wilson to come out and meet us and say a few words to us. Governor Wilson never even answered me. I wrote to the mayor of Sacramento, and the mayor of Sacramento never answered the letter. I asked the mayor to come and to welcome you all to Sacramento, and the mayor never bothered to do anything. And I don't think that's the kind of treatment that we deserve as atheists. I think that we're here and we have to let the governor, we've got to let the legislature here, we've got to let all of these people know that we're atheists, we're here, we're not going to go away, we deserve our rights, we're 10% of the U.S. population and 13% in California. And they can't ignore us that long. All we've got to do is to get atheists out of the closet. You just did it, and nobody did anything to you. So shame on all of the atheists in California that are sitting at home right now, because they should be out here doing what you're doing. Tell this legislature what's going on. I'm tired of being treated as a second-class citizen because I'm an atheist. I think the atheists are the finest citizens, and we ought to be out in front, and we ought to be treated that way, and we ought to be treated that way now.
Yes, sir.
I want to carry on a little tradition here, and I want to hear you real loud, because I've done this at Atheist Pride March 1 and 2, so we'll have to do it at number 3. So ready? Give me an A. A. Give me a T. A. Give me an H. A. Give me an E. E. Give me an I. I. Give me an F. F. Give me a T. T. What's that spell? Atheist. What's that spell? Atheist. Are you proud to be atheists? Yeah. Right.
Thank you, John Murray, president of American Atheists out of Austin, Texas. Now, he was telling you about what fine citizens we are. There was a story a week ago in the Chicago Sun-Times the story came out of Dallas, Texas, where a Jewish group was objecting to the fact that a prison in Fort Worth, Texas, had established a separate wing for Christian inmates only. And the Jewish group was complaining about how this was a violation of state-church separation. Well, I want to tell you, as an atheist, I don't feel left out a bit, do you? They wouldn't have established a separate wing at the prison for Christian inmates if one wasn't needed. And as far as I'm concerned, the Christians can have the whole place. We don't need it. You don't see them building separate wings of prisons for atheist prisoners. They'd have nobody to put in there. Well, wait, there might be one person, because in Texas, there's one person who wouldn't profess a belief in God, in order to serve as a juror. This is another person who has served her entire life, who has spent her entire life working for the civil rights of atheists and for state-church separation. It's Robin O'Hair. Now, the last time I introduced her, she wasn't able to make it to the podium, but then again, she never liked me anyway. But maybe this time, please, Robin, please come and be with me and speak to the group.
You know, brothers and sisters have a reputation for bickering over everything, and John always says I contradict him. But I have to contradict him on one thing. He said, they can't exclude us as citizens. They can. They can every time you stay silent. When you stay silent in your home, when you're forced to pretend to be religious with your relatives, when you stay silent in your schools, when you're forced to pray, when you're forced to accede to religious ceremony, when you stay silent in your place of business, when your employer assumes that you're going to church or assumes that you'll participate in the business prayer breakfast. We have to learn not to stay silent. And you were awfully quiet during the march, I think. And that's a quietness you can't take home with you. You have to learn how to speak up every day of the week when you don't see another atheist in sight. This is good practice when you're all grouped together. But you have to remember that pride that you feel today when you're at home, when you're at business, when you're talking with your local government, so that you can affect a change. And you may just be the one person badgering them, but that's how change gets affected. By one person, then a second person, and then a third person. By your own courage, you can give courage to another atheist to come out of the closet. Whether that's a letter to the editor, whether that's being seen alone on the side of the street with a picket sign, whatever it is, you can help bring the other atheists out of the closet so that we're not so small next year or the year after that. So, speaking of silence, what exactly is it we want to say to religion? We want to say no to religion. Can I hear you say that? No! Thank you.
Thank you, Madalyn O'Hair. As we conclude our rally today, John Murray is going to come back up here in a moment to thank some of the people who made this parade possible and successful. We'll be returning to the buses shortly. I want to encourage those of you who came on the second caravan of the buses to allow those people who came on the first caravan of the buses to take the first group back, so that you only are stuck waiting for buses one time rather than twice. And then if there's room after those people who want to go back on the first caravan that came on the first, if there's room after that, the rest of you, whoever wants to, can join on. I was mentioning before that atheists have those high ethical values, one of which is we don't litter on public property. So make sure that every single sign, any drink cans or drink cups or any other litter that we pick up after ourselves, so that after we leave, we're able to hear those wonderful police officers standing behind me mumbling something like, gosh, those atheists, they sure are polite, they sure are civilized, they even cleaned up after themselves. And let's hear it for the California police officers. Yeah! Good job! Assure that our First Amendment rights were protected. Now here's John Murray, President of American Atheists, to thank a few people.
I want to thank our calliopeist for providing some wonderful march music. Where is he? Big round of applause for the calliopeist, please. That was great. That was great. I also want to thank our friend from Canada who kept you entertained with the bagpipes over at the park. There he is in the middle. Also, all of the marshals, I thank you for your good job. Keep everybody in line. And I also want to thank Dave Evans here, who's pointing the camera at me, our intrepid camera crew, who got all of this down. And you will be seen on an American Atheist Forum program in one of 121 cities by the time the tape of this march gets around. So how's that for coming out of the closet? I also want to thank our convention still photographer over here. Well, thanks for your participation. We've been on time. Everything's been going just fine, and it's time to go back to the hotel, I guess. We have 4 buses when we were supposed to have 3. So we might even fit almost all of you in them in one pass going back. But if we have some extra people, one bus can come back and pick up the stragglers, because you got plenty of time to get back to the hotel. It's not that far. All of you handicapped folks, everybody will have to go back on the buses this time because the convertibles need to be returned. Yeah, all of the picket signs, take everything with you, don't leave anything here, and the picket signs will take up over by the buses, and they'll have to go back on one of the buses, because we'd appreciate the chance to use them at next year's rally, some of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming. This concludes our parade and rally. So those of you that were on the first group of buses, why don't you hop on the bus? And those of you that that came on the second group that want to go back, wait for them to get on the bus, and then when there's room, if you'd like to get on too, go ahead. I'll be here, and anybody wants to stay here with me for a few minutes until the bus makes that round trip. Okay. And Spike come to the front by Conrad. There's Spike, and here's Conrad. So thank you all very much.
From Hawaii, aloha. You been there?
You're saying you're just going to wave at
Just wave.
Oh, okay.